Yesterday we spoke about the process of design, and we noted that it had at least 5 stages. So they were, initially, we had some form of insight. Insight to us came through the design brief and how we interpreted the design brief through our research. The next one, down for us, is preparation. This is the one that bites everybody. The more preparation you can do, the better. Why? The next one. This is the most powerful one of all for us, incubation. Incubation for us is a process of time. If we don't have this initial stage and that one, we don't get this. So we need incubation. Why? Only through incubation do we get the next one. Illumination. Illumination is when we get a sudden insight into the challenge that we've had in a direction we did not anticipate, hence the idea, illumination. The last one for us is how do we communicate that to other people? This is the one we ask you to demonstrate here at the university. Verification. How do we know that the assumptions we've made all the way through here are correct? Yesterday we spoke about setting up a support system to hold a human body during a task like this one. The first thing we'd ask you to consider is how high do we make the backrest? If the backrest is too low, it will barely touch the bottom of our rib cage and the body will feel unsupported. If it's too high, the body can feel as if it's being crowded and there's little room for the head to go backwards. Also, as designers, you may consider that this is wasted space. The next thing that we consider is the height. The determining of the height is what is the height for the person we wish to accommodate. The taller the person, generally the higher the squab underneath the seat. The last part that's most significant to the course we're doing now is the angle in between these two supports. If the angle is too direct, the person will sit upright, but they won't be able to remain in this focus position for very long at all. They'll become very stoopy. If we make it too shallow, it becomes more like a lounge and they will slide, particularly if our squab is too short. There's not enough room to grab the pelvis and we will start to slide. So your challenge is to make sure that you have a good relationship between the squab size, the backrest height, and the angle. Over to you. Yesterday we spoke about fillets and in particular compound fillets. When we start with our first fillet, if we bring it over to this leading edge, we end up with a resultant shape. The challenge is, what happens when we have the same fillet running down this side? What does this corner look like? Typically, somebody who is new to this would start to draw the fillet this way. That is incorrect. What I need you to do is form what's called a classic suitcase corner. Bring these two lines together and then, following this arc, bring it around. Following this arc, bring it around. And then disregard this part. Here, I want you to form another fillet. These will carry down, and that is a suitcase corner. The second challenge we had yesterday was the situation where there is not two intersecting fillets. So we start with our first fillet, which is going to travel along. We start with our second fillet, which is going to come up. The way I would prefer you to do this is follow your perspective lines with this one. Follow your perspective lines with this one and remember this point. Continue this one on in response to our first angle projection. That way, bring up this one. Here is the challenge. This is different to a suitcase corner. If we try to construct a three-way angle, it will not work. What I need you to do is just drive these 2 points to each other and then form a single arc. This is a double rollout fillet. Yesterday in our lecture we spoke about how to get started on our sustainability project. So, what I want you to do is some quick brainstorming. I want you to write your project question in a box and then draw out the different influences. The first one for us will be equity. Are we acting in a way that is sustainable and equal to all parties? Second one, ecology. You'll begin to recognise the 3 E's of the triple top line that we spoke about last week. Third one, economy. If we don't speak in business unit terms, we will never get the attention of those who manage projects. Fourth for us, energy. Not so much energy usage, but energy in forms of cost in order to deliver each one of these services. Last one of our E's. We forgot about people. How about ergonomics? Does your design give consideration to the way a human being is going to use this? Sixth, we'll head downstairs. Are you making use of non-renewable resources? We spoke about this in week 2. We can now see the importance of this. All of these fit within one item, and that's the device we spoke about earlier on, which is your life cycle assessment. You now know each element to put in your life cycle assessment as you go around and produce a summary that links back to your project. That's what I want. Yesterday we spoke about the process of getting ready to draw. For many of us, when we're confronted by a blank piece of paper, we start by drawing very small. Notice where my hand is. When we go to draw arcs, this is called panic. I want you to take your elbow off the page so that when you're drawing a larger arc. I want you to continue to draw larger and larger arcs. That's why we have the large pieces of paper. I want you to start moving your pelvis. I want you to start drawing the full size of the paper. I want you to start moving your full body. Notice what I'm doing with my hands here. This stops panic. Panic occurs when our hand is cold. So to get started of a morning, just put random dots between things and try and get your hand to draw the perfect arc between them. Don't worry if you don't make a perfect arc. Just keep going until you get it right. But loosen up this part of you. If you try to do it with your hand on the ground, you'll get that panic. Okay. The last thing I want you to do is circles. Circles we see as a challenge, particularly in rendering. I want you to loosen up with circles. Don't try and do them perfect the first time round. I want you to start and just get looser. And all your eye is doing is looking for the right shape. Once you have that shape, begin drawing circles inside of it. We don't care for the perfection of these ellipses at all. All we're looking for is, do we have a concentration there, and are we staying in the boundary? Do that before you begin drawing every day.